Hey everyone, welcome to another installment of Harry Potter Theory. In this video, we're going to be discussing Severus Snape, Lord Voldemort, and why Snape didn't strike Voldemort down when he was in a weaker state, preventing him from maintaining a physical form. Snape is a double agent, which means that for the duration of the books and films, Snape's loyalties were still very much unclear to many. Both sides thought that they had an ally, but we later find out that, despite his dubious past, Snape is good all along. What this means is that he would have had many opportunities to attack Voldemort when he was in one of his more primitive forms. He was in the inner circle of Death Eaters, and access to Voldemort would have been at his fingertips. Snape is one of the most powerful wizards in the entire wizarding world, and striking down a weakened Voldemort would have been no issue for him. So why not do it? Why allow Voldemort to achieve his full levels of power? Sure, attacking Voldemort wouldn't completely kill him because of his Horcruxes, but if Snape had used Avada Kedavra on Voldemort, then he would have at least stripped him of his physical form, making him easier to deal with. The time that Voldemort was in a non-corporeal form could have been used to hunt down and destroy the rest of the Horcruxes. First of all, Voldemort had been brought back to a physical form once, and it could be easily replicated again. Particularly because after achieving his physical form, Voldemort gave a long spiel in the graveyard to his Death Eaters about how it was done. The first time he lost his corporeal form, things were a bit more dire, and that's why it took so long. I remember only forcing myself, sleeplessly, endlessly, second by second, to exist. I settled in a faraway place, in a forest, and I waited. Surely, one of my faithful Death Eaters would try and find me. One of them would come and perform the magic I could not, to restore me to a body. But I waited in vain. However, thanks to Wormtail and Voldemort's knowledge of a potion that would be able to help him achieve a corporeal form once again, he was able to accomplish his goal. But I was willing to embrace mortal life again, before chasing immortal. I set my sights lower. I would settle for my old body back again, and my old strength. I knew that to achieve this, it is an old piece of dark magic. The potion that revived me tonight, I would need 3 powerful ingredients. Well, one of them was already at hand. Was it not, Wormtail? Flesh given by a servant. My father's bone, naturally, meant that we would have to come here, where he was buried. But the blood of a foe, Wormtail would have had me use any wizard. Would you not, Wormtail? Any wizard who had hated me, as so many of them still do. But I knew the one I must use, if I was to rise again, more powerful than I had been when I had fallen. I wanted Harry Potter's blood. I wanted the blood of the one who had stripped me of power 13 years ago. For the lingering protection his mother once gave him would then reside in my veins, too. Because the Death Eaters now knew how easy it was for Voldemort to once again assume a physical form, it's unlikely that Snape would act impulsively and kill Voldemort. Because what would it achieve? The first time took many years, but if he could now return to his physical form in a week, would it really be worth it for Snape to blow his cover? Killing him would also be a dangerous mission that could potentially cost him his life if something went awry. An assassination attempt is no easy task, particularly on the Dark Lord himself, who surrounds himself with keen, protective, and loyal Death Eaters. It would be risky, even for Snape, and there is always the chance that Voldemort could have seen the attack coming. Voldemort is a master at legilimency, which is the art of magically navigating the mind of another, extracting their feelings and memories. Yes, Snape is a master occlumens, which means that he is able to close off his mind to legilimency, and very effectively at that, but killing someone, particularly with the killing curse, requires an abundance of emotion, and it's hard to imagine that a master legilimens, like Voldemort, wouldn't detect it. Snape was able to trick the Death Eaters for years, but he always tread carefully. Stepping out of line and plotting to kill Voldemort with an unforgivable curse is another story altogether. The following excerpts from the text describe the emotion required to cast the killing curse. Avada Kedavra is a curse that needs a powerful bit of magic behind it. You could all get your wands out now and point them at me and say the words, and I doubt I'd get so much as a nosebleed. But that doesn't matter. I'm not here to teach you how to do it. Also, never used an unforgivable curse before, have you, boy? She yelled. She had abandoned her baby voice now. You need to mean them, Potter. You need to really want to cause pain, to enjoy it. Righteous anger won't hurt me for long. I'll show you how it's done, shall I? So, my theory is that mustering up the necessary emotions required to cast the killing curse would be noticed by Voldemort, making the mission unbelievably dangerous. If Snape and Dumbledore had felt that this was plausible, then I'm sure they would have gone ahead with it sooner. The final reason that Snape didn't kill Voldemort is that his final Horcrux, the Horcrux inside of Harry, needed to be destroyed by Voldemort himself. Tell him that on the night Lord Voldemort tried to kill him, when Lily cast her own life between them as a shield, the killing curse rebounded upon Lord Voldemort, and a fragment of Voldemort's soul was blasted apart from the hull and latched itself onto the only living soul left in that collapsing building. Part of Lord Voldemort lives inside Harry, and it is that which gives him the power of speech with snakes and a connection with Lord Voldemort's mind that he has never understood. And while that fragment of soul, unmissed by Voldemort, remains attached to and protected by Harry, Lord Voldemort cannot die. Harry seemed to be watching the two men from one end of a long tunnel. They were so far away from him, their voices echoing strangely in his ears. "So the boy must die?" asked Snape quite calmly. "And Voldemort himself must do it, Severus. That is essential. For Voldemort to be properly destroyed, it was essential that Voldemort himself be the one to destroy his final Horcrux, which meant that it was imperative that he maintains a physical form of some kind. If Snape had killed Voldemort prematurely, it would have only delayed the inevitable. Additionally, despite being on the inner circle of both sides of the battle, Snape is still very much unaware of a lot of the things happening behind the scenes. He doesn't know about the relationship between Harry and the Horcruxes, and this is because Dumbledore had been very vague when discussing plans with him. All he knows is that Dumbledore made it abundantly clear that Voldemort would have to be the one to kill Harry. So, to conclude, Snape didn't kill Voldemort because it just didn't make sense. It would have bought time, but how much? A week? He would have risked his life, cut ties with the Death Eaters, and Voldemort would have been back again in a corporeal form in no time at all. Additionally, with Voldemort's corporeal form gone, the Horcrux in Harry would have lived on, only further perpetuating Voldemort's existence. And that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. What do you think would have happened if Snape killed Voldemort earlier on? Let us know down in the comment section below. Until next time, you're a wizard, Harry!